Welcome everybody inside another episode of Talkin Grizz. This is our off-season series. It's our last episode because the draft is happening. So we're talking to media from around the league about the draft and prospects and the future of their markets team. So joining me now from a really fancy, cool studio in New York somewhere is a reporter for SNW TV covering the Knicks, Nets, and NBA, and also the host of a brand new digital show called The Putback, Ian Begley. Welcome and thank you for being here.
Kelsey, thanks for having me. How are you?
I'm so good. Are you ready for the draft?
Yes. Yeah, I'm ready for the draft, ready for free agency. Let's get to next season. I'm ready.
All right. So I know that you cover kind of every team in New York, Nets, all of them. Let's focus in on the Knicks right now. They're coming off a 21-45 season. Look to get a little lucky. They're hoping in the draft lottery. They don't. They end up with number 8 and number 27. So if you could walk me through kind of best case scenario, a dream situation for the Knicks on draft night, what does it look like for them?
Yeah, I think it is landing one of the top point guards in the draft at 8. I think the dream scenario is, Cleveland and Detroit both don't take point guards, and then one of Tyrese Halliburton, Kyra Lewis Jr., Killian Hayes. I don't think Lamelo Ball ends up down there, but one of those top guards ends up there at 8. And I think unless they decide to trade the pick, I think that's where they would go. But who knows what happens ahead of them? So so much depends on what those teams do before the Knicks get on the clock.
I've seen a lot of talk about Killian Hayes. Is there, out of those 3 that you even named right there, is there one that you think is a better fit with this Knicks roster?
My sense is that they would put Hayes ahead of Kyra Lewis and Halliburton. I'm not sure of that. That's just my sense. But I'm not a scout, but I'm just going based on what a lot of people have said, people from different teams. It seems to me that somebody like Killian Hayes could really fit well with RJ Barrett. And that's really what you have to look at, I think, if you're the Knicks. Unless you're planning on trading RJ Barrett, you just drafted him number 3 last year. So you want a player who's going to come in and fit well with him, complement him. And I think Hayes does that. So if I'm ranking those 3, I think he would be at the top there for them, assuming Lamelo Ball is off the board.
Okay, so let's just talk about Lamelo Ball really quickly. If for some reason, or if they're able to somehow trade, with Golden State or someone a little higher and they are able to go up there, is Lamelo Ball a viable option for the Knicks?
If we were talking in April or March, I would have said absolutely, because I was hearing that people around LaMelo wanted him in New York. And I know that he had some fans in the Knicks organization. But then when they ended up at 8, I think that changed things a little bit, because you would have to give up something significant, right, to get up to 2 or 3 or wherever you need to be to pick LaMelo. So I think things, not that they soured at all, but it just became a more difficult situation. So I think that if Golden State's asking price was something that New York found, acceptable, they would maybe try to move up there for either James Wiseman or Lamelo Ball. But I don't see that price being where the Knicks would want it to be.
Okay, and then my last question for you is the number 27 pick. Are there any names that stick out, or is it kind of just when we get there, we pick the best talent? The New York Knicks, they pick the best talent.
Right. I think part of it depends on what happens at 8. Like if you get a wing, like an Isaac Okoro at 8 or a Devin Vassell at 8, then I think you look lead guard at that pick later in the first round. Players like Malachi Flynn should be there. Maybe he won't be there, but he's a guy who is highly regarded, I think, by New York and many other teams. So I think there's going to be a lead guard there that you'll be able to get. It just depends on, who falls there. I think that's how you would look at it. You get a point guard, a lead guard at 8, you probably go wing at 27, or you flip-flop if it's the other way around.
Yeah. All right. Well, makes sense. And we are a day away, so it's going to be exciting stuff. Where can we see all of your coverage, including all this draft coverage that we're going to have in the upcoming days?
Yeah, Kelsey, you can find me on Twitter at Ian Begley, IANBEGLEY, and everything is also on SNY's website, sny.tv. You can look at the Knicks or the Nets pages there.
Perfect. Easy as that. Appreciate your time today. Good luck. I know we're going to have lots of stuff to talk about, like you know, in the upcoming week. It's going to be interesting. And then the season pretty much starts. Preseason does.
Here we go.
Woo, we're back in it.
Here we go. Yes. Yeah, it should be fun.
It should be. And Grizzlies fans, you can get more always on grindcitymedia.com.